Start streaming. Little look here. Gonna cover a couple of back tests today and a few little bits and bobs, and we should be good. Yeah, we'll have a little look, see, eh? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Share the screen. Got that going. It should be good soon. Let's ping everyone. Let's ping a few beeps. Let's have a look. Yay. Yay. Live. The Jords. What's... You've been in the snow? What did you say? You've been in the snow? In the snow? Yeah. Yeah. Take it away. This is the time. This is the time to lurk, mate. This is the time to lurk. I reckon we'll give it another minute, and I'm gonna get cracking. See what everyone is doing. Yeah, busy at work, but that's okay. Yes. Nah.
Fartcon on like the 5-minute charts.
I reckon we get cracking,
it's
mate.
Crazy.
Let's get cracking here, boys. Let's get cracking here. Let's do it. All right, market is giving us some time to think about what we wanted to do, but I reckon that this is a good time to have a bit of a macro anyway for me, and I just wanted to record this as well. A couple of people have been asking in the chat about some forex calls and how do we look at forex and what do I look for in forex. So I thought I'd just give a bit of a comprehensive view between dollar, of course, a couple of forex pairs, majors, a couple of obviously the main fours as we know, crypto, and a couple of other tickers such as gold and NAS100. So I was hoping to catch some live trading in I just missed the AUDUSD, which we'll go through shortly. That was a beautiful live trade that I just got, but it was just a little bit too early for us. So as we always do on these lives, we start from the dollar, and the reason why we start from the dollar, of course, is our gauge for many different financial markets, not just for crypto, of course, but for forex indices and whatnot. So dollar, the way I see it is pretty simple at the moment. So it has been giving us a relatively good structure with some higher lows. So you can see we're obviously in a macro bearish sentiment, which is no surprise there with Trump in presidency, of course. But we do have now, as we are speaking, a potential break of structure. So really 10 hours left into this daily candle. The structure is really here for me. So this is just an intraday structure on the 4 hour. If the dollar decides to take out this 98,880 on this capital.com, every price feed is different, but this is the structure that needs to break for me to have a change of character and go lower. What I do expect instead, for now anyway, is a further retracement, and we'll go through as to why. On the 4 hour, we can see it's pretty clear. This big 4 hour buy to sell move, beautiful institutional move, takes out all this intraday liquidity here. Doesn't quite get to that level, which potentially leaves it open for later. So we box up this 4 hour candle as we usually do, and the next thing we do is how is the structure behaving. So 4 hour, this is, you can see the line where I had it earlier. We wicked. I was hoping to see a reaction, and we certainly did. So big wick, and then we started to reverse. That tells me quite confidently that we are perhaps likely and probably going to retest and revisit this 4 hour candle. That's great. With this bias in mind, we can definitely start having a look at some other charts. And if we expect, obviously, dollar to go up, beautiful liquidity taken here, 4 hours still there, we can obviously look for short on the majors. So if the dollar is stronger, pairs against the dollar are obviously weaker. This is a trade that I was hoping, and it looks very small because it is on the 1 minute. So I'll show you if we look at on the daily where we are hiding everything. We obviously, this is on a 4 hour, we're obviously ranging at a very high level. So that in itself is a nice little red flag. But the other thing importantly that I noticed was this 4 hour candle being mitigated by this other big push up. So with that in mind, and with our dollar in sight, obviously with retracement, scale down onto the 1 minute. This is literally, I took it less than an hour ago, or just exactly 1 hour ago. So it was just a little bit too early for the stream. And the reason why we took this trade, I took this trade anyway, was after we saw this push up in liquidity. Obviously there was a nice indicator that there was some potential buying pressure to go a little bit higher. I didn't actually enter the sell from this specific level here. Instead, what we do is we take the previous high and the recent low, and we simply just box it up in our fib tool, and we just see our favorite area 786 886, which kind of falls in between all these squiggly lines. That was the 786 886 here, and you can see how the market is reacting at this level. We have a very strong push to go up, so obviously a big push up, and then we start selling down. As soon as we printed this lower high on the 15 minutes, I was interested and I scaled down onto the 1 minute. So this was a scalp. Only took literally like 30 minutes or so. And the reason why we took this, I took this scalp, was in the 15 minutes. Let me just go back one time frame quickly because I want to show you something. This was obviously the 15 minutes there and there. So on the 1 minute, let me grab my fit tool. From the high to the low that we printed, once again, we look for the 786, 886. Now, it didn't quite hit it on this CMC markets, but it did hit it on other price feeds that I have on FCMX. You can see I've got different price feeds. And that for me was a go. I entered pretty much at, in fact, not pretty much, I entered at current market price. And that was a beautiful trade. We had all the confirmation that we needed from a higher time frame to obviously lower time frame, and now all we need to see, I've already TP'd, so there's nothing else for me to do. What I did though, and maybe actually this is what I'll do, guys, and let me know in the chat if this works for you. I might just do a quick replay and we can talk about trade management. How about that? So let's pretend this trade didn't activate yet. I'll just do a quick trade management. So first of all, how did I set my TP? Obviously, if there was a current market price, I didn't really have a lot of data to go by, but the first thing that I was looking for was liquidity levels at this level here. So that was an interesting liquidity level. And the second thing for me, you can see probably my fib levels, I always have extensions. So minus 414 and minus 618 are my extensions there. So those are roughly TP levels for me. So actually we'll leave them there because I need them to show you. And once the trade started eventuating, of course, there was a entry current market price. As soon as we hit major liquidity, which is going to be at this point right here, what I do is I immediately, it wasn't just here, it was there. So as soon as we hit this major liquidity level, let me just do the replay again so we can see it properly. So liquidity level was hit right here. And as soon as we hit here, this level right here, I move my stop loss, right? Because I'm in profit already. So I'm on a 1-to-1 roughly. And as I hit different liquidity levels that I highlighted in the trade, and I highlighted before entering the trade, actually I should say, I keep trailing my stop loss down just to secure the profit. So let's have a quick look. It's very fast. Maybe we'll slow it down a little bit. We'll do it at 1. So you can see as soon as that candle, and this is probably a good way to do it and to show live or semi-live because this is a recording. But as soon as the candle here closed below, and I had a confirmation that, make it a little bit bigger, that this fair value gap or imbalance, if you like to call it, was not reverted, meaning we started, if we revert it, we start going up. This fair value gap or imbalances was in fact respected. And as soon as that fair value gap was respected, I basically keep trailing my stop loss lower and lower. And similar to here, as soon as we hit that liquidity level, boom, a stop loss goes down and then hit my TP. I could have left this trade open, but I was getting ready for this stream, so I didn't have the time to manage it any further. So I took my 1 to 2.57, and that's basically how we can trade any asset on any time frame. Obviously 1 minute takes a lot less. This was like I said, 30 minutes or just under an hour, maybe 45 minutes of trade. But we can trade in this way on crypto. We can trade this way in any sort of asset. So and I took this trade, you can see, from higher time frame, having a bias on the dollar, what it was doing, and then forming an opinion, right? EURUSD, this was a trade that we called in GTG the other day, and we called it live. So if you took it, we hit full TP. Good on you. We are in profit, we're eating. And how did we take this trade? It was a very similar concept, right? So and let me know in the chat, live or in the recording, if you took this trade and if you are in profit. You can take this sort of trades either on brokers or on gains on Solana network if you prefer to trade forex on chain. What we looked for was a sweep of liquidity, first of all. So there was a big sweep of liquidity in that form of candle. There was a liquidity forming here, and there was a break of structure or change of character here. So obviously we were making this kind of range, and then as soon as we broke down, that's why we can scale down in time frame and highlight that there was a BOS, a change of character. And then what we do is we look for an entry, and the entry presented itself in the form of the 4-hour candle, which we just saw. Yeah, we were a little bit up, so that we had a little bit of drawdown, nothing major. Technically, you can say this would have been a good candle to enter from, but you can see we didn't quite hit it. So some of these candles, they can be a little bit risky, fair value gaps. I don't necessarily like to enter from fair value gaps. I prefer enter from candle. I know that if you are a die-hard smart money concept guy or girl, you're like, oh, I need my fair value gaps. So I think fair value gaps are great, or imbalances are great, but they're better at determining TPs and potential reversals on than they are for entry. So with that in mind, yep, this trade, obviously this trade took a little bit longer to eventuate, excuse me, while my arrow just goes everywhere. This trade took a little bit longer to eventuate than obviously the scalp, but we hit full TPs and now we are obviously retracing. And isn't that interesting that we are in fact retracing into a fair value gap and into this 4-hour candle, which conveniently, when I mitigated all these order blocks here into this other 4-hour candle. So market keeps respecting levels. So technically, this could be a nice potential EURUSD short. Again, I wouldn't mind giving this a go. I'm on live now, so I'm not going to trade it. But I do see the setup, and something like this is definitely doable on EURUSD. If you're watching this live, I'll probably take it. Just looking on the 4-hour, and you can see it's starting to move already. So yeah, it's a little bit late for me to take it. Plus, I'm on the live, so. But we'll leave it here and we can go back and back test it and have a look at it next time. Similar to Euro GBP, this was the level that I was actually eyeing just before dinner, and look at that, it just got hit. So I'm actually active on this one because that was my entry, which is fantastic. So similar concept as usual, liquidity trend line just down here from effectively there to there. That was my trend line of liquidity that retail traders like to trade from. And all we do is get rid of that, and we'll do it again. From the high to the low, we look for the 7A6, 8A6 level, and we see what's interesting in there. And I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can now. If you have been with me a few lessons or lives, you can see this 4-hour candle of major interest. So we highlight that, we box it up, and that was my entry. You can see it was a little bit, would have been there roughly. But it was in between the 7A6 and the 8A6, so my perfect area, and now we're in profit. If you are watching this live, I probably will wait for perhaps a retest. But I do like the idea as well. So you can see on the 15 minutes, we are starting to make some lower lows, which is great. So now what we can do, if you are looking for live trades currently at this very moment, we'll just lock that up. We have a nice big push up that goes and mitigates these order blocks right here, so fair value gap. We are making some higher lows, so I'll probably look at play off this candle right now. So this will be my re-entry for a scalp. So something like this, a current market price, very tight stop loss, perhaps even just here above this one. And obviously we can target some sort of liquidity levels from here. That's a 1 to 6. This is a nice liquidity level down here, 1 to 3 as well. And you can see the reactions are beautiful, happening live. Again, we'll leave this here. I'm already in trade up here, and we just broke down the logic of taking the trade. But once again, if you are looking at this, I wouldn't mind this little scalp. It's starting to react nicely, so we'll leave it there and we can circle back later. And in the meantime, let me just quickly check on the stream because I cannot see one-to-one. Awesome. So let me just bring up the chat there so I can see you guys live if you have any questions. Let's have a look at the main fours. Let's start with BTC, of course, crypto. So where are we at? Major area here for crypto, right? So we can see the daily candle that we've been talking about for months now. We are right for weeks, sorry, apologies. Well, almost a month, I guess, but yeah, for 4 weeks. We are right in the middle of it, and we've gone past this daily candle, this daily level, we clear it. Now the real question is, how far do we go, right? From all-time high to the local lows, we are spanking between the 50 to 61.8 area. I don't like this area personally. I think there's a lot of indecision. We were obviously in GTG in a short, which I just called break even on that. I'm just not convinced at the moment. Look, it could flush, but it could also go up, and we don't like to take those kind of trades. We want to see some sort of confirmation. The confirmation will come, for me personally, in the form of a clear breaker structure. So we would need to see on a 1 hour or a lower time frame, sorry, higher time frame, on a 4 hour, 1 hour, some clear breaker structure with intent. You can see that every attempt that sellers are doing, so this is an attempt that sellers to flip structure, gets eaten up by buyers, and that is obviously telling us that the tug of war between sellers and buyers at the moment is still very much alive. We don't have clear winners, and even here in this latest move where we thought that the sellers perhaps were in control, it just gets eaten up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive bullish candles. So not convinced. I'm gonna sit this one out. Nothing there for me at the moment on BTC. And the other thing I do notice on the lower time frame as we scale down, again, I'm doing this live with you guys. I didn't have really a lot of time to look at any crypto at the moment, so shout out Sexy for making me look at the Ray chart up nicely, 480%. Thank you for that. You can see we're obviously quite bullish still on, yeah, massive trade. We can show it later. But we noticing we're not making lower lows just yet. So we don't even have a breaker structure on lower time frame. And until these lows get taken out with conviction, and really these lows and this whole area gets invalidated, right? I want to see this whole area here invalidated with a strong close down. Until that happens, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting it out. Sorry, I'm on XRP here, but same, I should have said it. Same kind of situation as BTC. Sitting it out, nothing there for me to do at the moment. I'm just going to wait for the market to make up its mind. Where is Solana at? Solana is in a slightly different situation, looks like it. Let me just have a look from the macro. Yeah, so we had obviously the major candle again that got taken out completely. So if you remember in the BTC that we just looked, we were just about halfway of that candle, whereas in SOL we have effectively and officially closed above it. We did also close above 4 hour area, which I highlighted would have been that candle right there. Yep, so we obviously invalidated that level, and now we're just pushing we're pushing higher, lower. We are attempting to go lower with this breaker structure, but once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4 hour candles consecutive, just eating it all up, eating up all the gains. So for SOL, obviously, we need to have a look at what BTC is doing, but I don't like the middle of the range that I can see on the daily. So we are still a little bit far away from a potential reversal zone for my liking. I would like to see a rejection around the 50 to 61A potentially for an attempt, or a first attempt at a short, at a reversal. So playing off this candle at 193 or thereabouts, depending on the feed. But really what got my eyes a little bit better, and what I reckon is going to be my next level for a swing short, will be this area right here, where we have some really interesting telling daily candles. So big buy to sell move. You can see 1, 2, 3 very large bearish candles that were initiated by this big buy to sell move. So this level at the 230 to 29 definitely has my interest, but it is also very close to the 786 and 886. And when these things happen, I have noticed on back testing that they tend to go a little bit higher. Excuse me. We tend to wick a little bit higher. So this might be the main area from reversal, but when these kind of areas are really close to major fibs, I'm expecting some sort of wick. So it's almost like you can play from above this level a little bit. So, but we are still so far away. We are at 180, 179. So before we get to 250 for a swing down, there's nothing for me to do. We could potentially look at playing obviously along in this kind of imbalances down here, so the 150 or thereabouts. Let's have a quick look in the meantime. What do we have down there? So let's do it properly. Let's highlight our fair value gap, and let's have a little look see. what do we have there? So some pretty bullish move, of course. So we have a nice gap right there. That's a nice area. I like that gap right there. There's many. There's one below as well, but let's have a look on the 1 hour if we see anything. Man, nothing that jumps out. Somebody off mute. Did you guys want to speak? Feel free to chime in if you want. I do see this nice level though. This is a nice order block right here. So I am going to highlight that as a point of interest, which is just below the imbalance. And potentially you can see on the 15 minutes, this candle right here as my attention. So just based in, obviously a little bit far away, we're at 180. This is a 150 level. Sorry, wrong one. 150 level, but I wouldn't mind putting a bit of a level, so I always have a visual of where we're at right now, and I'll just drag it across. That was a very far away level, but this is how you find the entry zones. You have to go back in time, so something like that could potentially be a snipe, depending on, of course, when we get done there, market structure. So this could look something like this, where we end up putting a stop loss below this other order block just here. But we'll leave it on the charts. We'll get to it. We'll see how it plays out. For now, once again, nothing there aside from having a nicer breaker structure for SOL. So lower lows, higher high, lower high, and lower high again. So out of the three that we just looked, actually two, BTC and XRP, SOL is probably the one that looks the best for a short currently, and this will be obviously a very quick scalp, something like this. Tight risk, could potentially argue even at the top of this, depending on the 5 minutes and 1 minute. But you can see it's actually quite nice that this candle's already got filled. So this imbalance right here, hey, come on, play nice. Not play nice. This imbalance right here already got filled, which is nice. So now it's just going to be a matter of seeing if in the next few minutes we start to reverse, and we could have a short, we could have a cheeky live scalp. And my mouse just gone rogue. Where did you go? 1, 2, and 3. There you are. Nope. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, team. There it is. It's got a couple of it's got 2 computers, so it just goes. Yeah, this is a nice cup. There you go. Moving now. Live trade. Once again, I would take this if I wasn't on the stream. But if you are on the stream and if you're live, this is what live trade is for. So if you're taking it, okay, good. I would even tighten my stop a little bit, just to have that nice 1, 2, almost 3 risk to reward, something like that. So short, we'll leave it there. What do you think, Sexy? Look at that 1 hour indecision candle. Look at this doji on the 1 hour. When you see these kind of candles on the 1 hour, that means that there's a massive indecision. Massive indecision.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. We filled the imbalance. This is a trade that I would take with a small risk, of course. Let's have a look at the last of the big fours. This was Ethereum and looks, oh man, I was hoping to call this one live and we missed it. I missed it, but we just called SOL. So I'm happy. I'm happy if you can catch this, because the logic for this one was pretty much the same. So what I was looking at was actually this. Let me just clear out this fair value gap. I was having a look just before the stream at this candle, and obviously the logic is always the same. So 15 minutes, we can see high, and this where we broke the structural change of character. So we started making lower lows and then lower highs, and then lower lows again. And what I was hoping for was to see this 15 minutes fair value gap or imbalance completely filled and a retest of this candle, which we did get the filling of the not complete though of the fair value gap, but yeah, it moved. But doesn't matter. I actually like SOL better because we just called it live and it's already starting to move. So we can delete this setup. I rather be on SOL. Even though the structure, you can see they're quite similar. ETH is perhaps a bit more vertical in terms of going down quicker, but the direction is very much the same. And you can see the difference. BTC is starting to push a little bit higher, just not as bearish looking, and XRP is just, if anything, is looking a little bit more bullish, but very much indecisive. So very different structure between the three, but yeah, SOL is a good one at the moment. Any questions so far?
Yeah, ETH also slightly weaker than most coins at the moment.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's good. Getting to call a couple of live trades. I love it. So basically what we did today so far is we just wanted to cover how we look for trades, starting from obviously high time frame, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes. It's always so important to form a bias first, right? I'm not just going to go on straight on a 5 minutes, 15 minutes chart and call a trade. I need to see where the coin is in the major, in a major level, at a major or higher time frame level, right? And gold is a perfect example of this, and this is a good segue into gold and where we are. I was having a chat with Stingray, I think it was yesterday for me, and we were just talking about where gold is at the moment, if we should do anything with gold. Well, first of all, we know that gold is starting to slightly depair from dollar, and it doesn't quite move as in synchrony as it used to be. It's very much the same as Bitcoin as well. But most importantly, we haven't really closed below this previous structure. I'm on a daily here, right? So very much a higher time frame. So we're making some higher highs, higher lows, and then we fail to make a higher high pretty much. Like, I don't consider this a higher high. It is technically, but very much not with conviction. And similarly, we've very much failed to make a lower low. So I'm expecting gold to potentially consolidate here for the next few days, which means that you could potentially play the range. But this is obviously a candle or daily candle that has still got another 10 hours to play off. So way to do it for me is always grab it a straight line. I've got my little setups, so that is the structure that I need to see, and then into the messages is basically close below, and you can see I've got close below equals we retrace lower, and that's my alert. Is going to tell me, actually I did forget to see, you probably saw the alert just coming off, I did forget to put in when we close below. Right, not just when we tap it, so when we close below. With that in mind, yeah, we'll see now. We'll have to see what happens in the next few hours. You can see the 4 hour is very much unconvincing, but I do notice on the 4 hour for gold, this big imbalances left behind. We have managed to mitigate most of these ones, but we still very much have some 3,000 to 3,325 to 3,285, call it, this big gap right here that we could potentially go and revisit later today. So a move similar to this for gold would not surprise me. Okay, so where we basically take out this liquidity, retrace a little bit lower, come back and fill this out, and effectively the candle to play off for me will be this 4 hour candle right here, which is excuse me, the last buy to sell move. So an entry if you want to play off the fair value gap from here. I play off fair value gaps only when the candle doesn't give me a nice body, and in this case it's very small body, but I'm gonna refine the entry in a second. We're gonna go into the 1 hour, we'll see what we have, and the 1 hour confirms this very large imbalances left behind, which is good. This is good. That means that this is an imbalance in the market, and the market will likely have to rebalance itself, come into fill and close some of these orders. That's what we want to see. So I'm happy with that. Let's have a look on the 15 minutes, which is probably better for gold. And straight off the bat, I've got an area of interest right here in this order block. So this is a little bit more advanced, but it's not a buy to sell. This is just an order block where we had obviously structure forming up, down, and then we had a very strong pressure selling, taking out this liquidity that was formed to then buy it right back, and then eventually the real move happens. So this buy area right here, that was obviously manipulations, right? Because the market wanted to go lower. We had smart money pushing it back higher to liquidate all these short people, liquidated them, and then the real move happened. So what we do now that we have this nice insight on the 15 minutes, we highlight this 15 minutes candle right here, and I'm sure it will be roughly, yeah, look at that, roughly the same level of the 4 hour. So I'm going to leave the 4 hour there as it is, and that's a good level for me to play. So I've got a 4 hour confirmation and a 15 minutes confirmation. I like that. This is likely going to be my stop loss. I can go a little bit, I'll show you where I'm putting it so you can see the liquidity level. So from this level right here, so I was playing off this level, so this imbalance that was completely filled with the last buy to sell move, that was my stop loss right there, and that's where I'm gonna play off. So yep, this is a nice level for gold that I'd be inclined to short. Gold has been very hard to trade recently just due to a bunch of manipulation happening. But that's just gold in a nutshell, really. It's not just now. But yeah, I do like that. So if you want to partake in gold, feel free to screenshot, take this these coordinates. I've got a short at 3320, 395 or 400, and a stop loss at 3353185. The TP will be likely lower here because I do believe we'll retest. And obviously we'll have TPs along the way. So for gold, it's imperative that you take profits. A big important level of liquidity, 3290 will be my first TP, roughly the 1-to-1. Then we would have again another TP at the previous highs, and then we will like another TP likely. Oh, it depends how the market's structured, but roughly at the moment, these are my first two TPs, and then I'll have to reassess. And last but not least, NAS100. This has been a fun ticker to trade recently. Obviously, major breaker structure. I'm sure that by now you can all tell this. So we had this incredible liquidity building, and when you see this massive trend line, doesn't matter what they're in, they're gonna get wrecked sooner or later. So, and they did. I think they got wrecked a little bit more than most people anticipated. Even going by this week, we effectively went even lower than the previous low. So even by here you can see we really retraced big time. But this is now a time where we could potentially look for longs, not for longs. Let me explain. This is a time where I'll be looking for retracement for longs. NAS100 is not going to continue down, in my opinion. This was the big liquidation event that had to take place and already happened. So all this liquidity has been taken out, and now we will continue higher likely. I am definitely not going to press sell up here. Instead, what I would rather do is I would rather see some sort of pullback and then play the long again. So for NAS100, you might see some people on the timeline calling potentially some shorts. I think it's a little bit, I'll be a bit hesitant because the liquidation event, like I said, has already happened. So this was the big liquidity level. This was the liquidation event. Now it's just a matter of how far and when do we retrace before we continue higher, right? So you can see with 786, 886 area currently as it is. So, but I'm not going to play anything until we get some sort of retracement. And that's kind of what I wanted to run through today. Bit of a back testing as well as some live trades. And we can do a quick roundup just to see how some of the trades are going if you took them. EURUSD is there. GU. I don't think this was the one from earlier. We didn't take that one. BTC. Ah, Solana's going against us, but I am still liking this setup, and I'm liking it because we are still bearish. We made a lower lot on the 1 minute, so as long as we can revert from this level, I'm gonna stick by this trade. And obviously we risk only small percentage of our account, 1%. You can see we're starting to push down already from this level. So yeah, I like that. I like that setup. Any questions in the chats? How are we going? Gonna have my grape juice. Oh, we got a man himself, Stingray, chatting away. It's morning over there, so GM. Just watching the Euro bounce. You mean Eurovision? Oh, EURUSD. Eurovision is on. Yeah, EURUSD. Yeah, I do think this this level will do its thing. Will melt down. But yeah, this AUDUSD, I wish I had kept it open, but like I said, if I'm not going to be able to manage a trade, there's no point in me keeping open it. I'm not huge on scalping anyway, because are you still in the Cerebro trade? Let's have a little look, see, hey? Cerebro. There you are. Yes, sir. Yep. In the cab. Thanks a lot. No problem at all, Lars. Yes. Still in the Cerebro. You can see we've taken now TP2. So TP1 and TP2 got hit. We absolutely sniped that level. So that was pretty good. No worries, Stingray. Have a great day, mate. Catch you soon, hey? And I guess we can also have a quick look-see at Radium, which was called a while back. As you know, I'm a swing trader, so these kind of trades take time, but they are also satisfying. So this was a trade that I called on Friday the 11th of April, so a little while back, and we are just about to hit full TP. So great trade there, lots of confirmations. Look, to be perfectly honest, this trade likely will continue a little bit higher. I am going to, as soon as we hit this imbalance right here, which is my TP, as soon as we hit TP, I'm probably going to keep the trade open and a little bit, just like maybe 10-15%, and just see how far it runs. But I'm going to close 90% at my full TP. So we might come back and revisit the $7. That will be my ideal scenario, at which point I'll probably look at scaling out some for portfolio as well. But as far as this leverage trade or leverage swing that we took, yeah, it's coming close to an end. It's been a nice trade, so very happy, very happy. And what else did we have? I think that was pretty much it in terms of what we had open for a while. We did catch a beautiful say trade recently, and that was our say trade. We can quickly run through it in the logic, I guess. Once again, liquidity trend line is pretty obvious when this kind of inducement takes place. You can see it. The market is basically just creating inducement. All we needed to do is highlighting where we were making some equal lows, grabbing a nice little handy dandy fib tool and highlighting our first and second area, 50% to 618, of course, and that was the winning area. We saw the 1 hour sell to buy. This was the candle that was highlighted as an entry right there. So 1 hour sell to buy, equal lows, bang, and we were off. If you have still this trade open, currently I didn't. I closed it out with a 1 to 3. if you have this trade open, just be mindful of breaker structure. You can see some sort of breaker structure happening currently, so I'll probably be very wary now if you're still in this leverage trade into trailing your stop loss as much as you can. Cool beans. No, I'm not shorting anything right now, Red Horse. There's too much indecision. The only trade that I'm happy to short currently was what was it? This wasn't it. It was on live sessions. Solana. Yeah, this was the only trade that I'm kind of confident in taking. And look, to be honest, that 1 minute candle's not really playing out. It looks like market might want a little bit higher still. We could potentially come and see this 1 minute candle right here. So this could potentially be an entry too, if you were to do a short. And obviously an entry too gives you a much better risk to reward, because if you were to take a short from an entry two with the same stop loss, you still be looking at 1 to almost 7 instead of a, what is that, 1 to 3. So this could potentially be an entry to snipe, potentially. But if you took it when I called it live, I still think we are going to reverse, but we'll see. If we do head a little bit higher, obviously the next target for potential reversal, all we need to do is take a fib and have a look. 56.8 invalidated. Next level 786 to 886. But for now, yeah, I don't want to be overexposed in longs or shorts on a little bit undecisive crypto market. Cool beans. Ramble for 45 minutes, but thanks for coming. Yeah, starting to reverse already. You can see that. Any other pairs that you want me to take a quick look-see? Might lock it and then we can have a look. Pengu. Pengu. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I do about 0 meme coins. So I'm happy to take a look at any chart, but when it comes to knowing about meme coins, of course I know Pengu is from the budgies. We've got a nice airdrop there, but where are we at? This is, first of all, this is a nice chart to look at, and there's a few nice things to talk through. Thanks for the shout out. So no, you're not getting me in trouble at all. I like taking a look at any charts, mate. I look at wheat, I look at coffee charts, I look at any charts. So first of all, 50% area from the high. I don't consider this a high. This is likely this was the launch. So forget about this. Let's just take this into, yeah. Orange juice, yeah, anything. Soy, yeah, I've got charts for everything, mate. So from high to low, 50%, and we can come straight into this beautiful last buy to sell move, right? So straight off the bat, we have a potential. Let me do it properly. Sorry, I get a little bit OCD with this thing. So let me just grab my magnet and my square. And in fact, when there's two, I actually take both of them and I do day. So that is potentially, in fact, I can even do this. This can be the selling pressure, right? This is potentially a selling pressure area with the daily there. So, but between now and then, what we can see is this chart obviously broke structure, change of character, really big impulse up, but what is really showing us is very shallow retracements. So when that happens, it tells us, of course, buyers in this case were absolutely in control. There's not a lot of sellers at all, so the seller attempts got invalidated pretty quickly and quite strongly by the buyers, which means the buy momentum in this case is still quite strong. I'm definitely not going to try to obtain this chart, to short this chart right now. That would be a little bit suicidal, I think. But I wouldn't attempt to long it either. the long time, sorry, the time to long was here. So, and I'll pinpoint it to you just looking at this chart. So the time to long was here when you had this. Where are we? This was the structure. As soon as that was broken, right? That was our BOS. So that was our BOS. And you would have had to be on lower time frame to even see this, because you can see the imbalances left behind are quite sizable. I'm on Binance, so I'm not sure the price fit, but this was a very shallow retracement. Yeah, you had a perfectly retrace in the fair value gap right there and a previous area of liquidity, so this would have been a nice long. I probably would have missed it because I would have liked a deeper retracement. I'm not huge in this kind of you know, what is it, 3 year to this would have been maybe a 50. Yeah, it was a 50%, so but just 50%, which means the trend was indeed quite strong. I'd rather take thanks mate, thanks Sexy, have a great lunch mate. Yeah, so I probably will wait on this chart. I wouldn't do anything right now. You can see lots of attempts to go higher. Obviously, meme coin or not, you will still eventually follow what BTC does and overall broader higher market cap, you know, coins. So we could very much flush, and we could potentially come and take some of this liquidity that we formed and come and say take this liquidity and maybe even fill some of these imbalances right here, right? But yeah, risky. So probably stay away from anything. Yeah, man. It's about time, hey? It's about time. Thanks, mate. Making me blush. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Team, that's pretty much all I've got for tonight, I reckon. So, if there's no other questions in the chat, but thank you for this awesome engagement. Love our community.
Thanks, Ozzy.
Thank you. Love our community, always coming with the goods. And shout out to GTG, of course, if you want to come and join us in the best trading group. Come and join us in GTG. Link, simple. It's in my bio. Pleasure, guys. Pleasure. And for those of you that just want to stay for a second more, if you do want to obviously book me in for a personal consultation, one-on-one, whatever you want to call it, I do also offer one-on-ones. So I got this nice little slide done today. Pretty proud of myself. Thanks, team. Catch you guys on another live shortly. Ciao.